If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Stop and Shop Auto Sales presents the Coach Matt Griffith Show every Thursday morning here on Daybreak Live. Cole Porter kicked a 22-yard field goal for the Aggies. Two Aggie backs over 100 yards apiece. And Sylacauga with a 17-6 win in a Region 5 contest against Centerpoint last Friday night. And, Coach, to say that's a marquee win would probably be an understatement.
Well, it's great for anytime you knock off, some people had them number 5, some people had them number 6 in the state. They're probably one of the most talented teams in the state. It's a huge win for our kids. They just did a great job. We didn't start the game off. We had problems right there in the mesh. We fumbled the football, and that was their lone score of the night. They never had another touchdown all night long. This Ridgeway just on a veer give, and just he does what
vintage Ridgeway.
It is, and Malik's doing a great job of blocking downfield, and that defense played lights out. This was a great. I was so proud for this kid. That kid played no defense all week.
Wow.
He was number 4 on our scout team so we could line our defense up the entire week. It's why I made him a captain. He's a senior. Keandre did a great job. Of course, there's our, Malik Pope on our buck out of the shotgun. Make a great cut right there for the score. And,
tremendous speed, too.
They did. They just did a great job of executing what we told them all week is to get them in the second half and wear them down. When we stepped off the field in the first half 6-0, our kids are kind of confused just a little bit. We just walked in at halftime and started clapping and said, guys, you got them right where we want them. This is what the game plan was. They're going to get tired. Now go out and do what we do. And the first offensive series in the second half was very important for us to come away with points. And Cole went in there and kicked a field goal, and we kind of never looked back from that point. We really feel we should have beat them 20-0. If we don't give up a fumble for a touchdown, Cole misses a late field goal, you blank them out 20-0. It was just a phenomenal effort by our kids and our coaching staff, and just very, very proud of how they went out and did it.
Defensively, against a powerful Centerpoint offense, shut them down.
Yeah, shut them down. And 4 had a couple of good runs, but other than that, I tell you, I wish you'd show a clip. 4 breaks one for about 65 yards in the third quarter or fourth quarter, and it looks like he's going to score. And Gabe Cox and Keandre Pearson came from all the way across the field to drive him out at the 3. They could have easily just gave up and loafed and didn't do it. Well, the very next play, they got a procedure penalty. And then they got another penalty, and they end up not scoring because of the hustle of 2 kids backside making sure a kid didn't score a touchdown. That's what our kids are doing right now so well.
17-6 Sylacauga, a win over Centerpoint last Friday night. One loss for Sylacauga the entire season, and man, you got them all piled up together with one region loss, 4 teams.
Yeah, listen, everybody's 4-1. There's 4 teams tied for number 1 right now in our region, but I said it all summer. I said it last year. The state champ came out of our region last year. The semifinalists came out of our region, and a quarterfinalist came out of our region. And we feel we should have been in the quarterfinals last year if we found a way to beat Jasper. So, tough region, great football, very good teams, very good coaches, and it's going to come down to these last 2 games to settle everything in our region of whether you're 1, 2, 3, 4, or you're out. All 4 scenarios are still at play.
7-1 the Aggies are now, and you expect this. This is something that you look for every year for the Aggies to get better and better and better. A lot of people across the state of Alabama are taking notice of the Sylacauga Aggie football team.
Well, and you know what? We tell our kids all the time, and we've told them every year we've been here. This is not the first time we've been 7-1. We're used to being 7-1, 6-2, those kind of things. We always tell our kids, I said, if you want the state to wake up and know what we always know, that you're one of the better teams in the state and we've got one of the better football programs in the state, you have to beat top 10 teams. And that's one, it's just sometimes hard to do. Well, that's what they did Friday night, and that's what we're going to have to do this Friday night. You've got another top 10 team that's defending state champ, and if you want the state to wake up and understand what we already know, that you're a very good football team. You got to knock off a top 10 team again.
Yeah, 17-6, Sylacauga knocks off Center Point. That's in the rearview mirror now.
It is.
Tough Central of Clay County awaits you Friday night just over the mountain.
They sure do. I mean, and you know what? I've always said it. It's a football school. You know, those are kids that are raised from the time they're 5 years old, running the same things through their pee-wees, through their youth leagues, through their middle school. They don't do anything else. And but you know what? They've got some holes just like everybody else. And our kids have practiced real hard this week. I think it's going to be one of the better football games in the state of Alabama this Friday. And, you know, we need a big crowd. I know it's at Clay, but that's not too far to drive. I'd like as many folks there just to make it like our home field instead of their home field. And, you know, a lot of things will be settled Friday night of where we are in the region, whether we host a playoff game. You know, a lot of different things. We've got a shot at a region title for one of the few times. And, you know, there's just a lot of things at stake. It's a big ball game.
Yeah, 7-1 Sylacauga against Central of Clay County. And Central, one of the top teams since they've combined schools.
Sure.
And Lineville and Clay County were top schools when they were separated.
They sure were. I mean, you combined a 3A school, state championship school, with a 2A state championship school, and you got Clay. And, you know, and they've played like it. I mean, they won it last year. But people forget before Coach Horn came back, Chris Herron, who was a tremendous football coach and a tremendous Christian man, Chris was winning 9, 10, 11 games there every single year with that school. And he was a tremendous football coach. So they're very used to winning, there's no doubt.
Practice this week for the Aggies.
So, you know, it's been good because it's cool. You know, there's a lot of things to get ready for. Yesterday was not what I wanted it to be. We had a couple of miscues of getting lined up to a couple of things that Clay does. But, you know, other than that, we're very healthy. We should have a smooth practice today. And, you know, kids know what is at stake. This is a confident group of kids. The hardest thing has been to bring them back down from that win. That's our fear as coaches, is that you cannot look past anybody, and you sure can't look past a Clay Central.
You got 2 running backs over 100 yards last week. You got a quarterback who is running the offense almost flawlessly. You got a defense that's not giving up many points,
Right.
and so you got to feel good about this Aggie team coming in at 7-1.
We do, we feel real good going into this game just because this is one of the few years that we feel we match up with a top 10 team up front. It's one of the reasons that you can line up and play a Center Point, you can line up and play a Clay, you can line up and play Mortimer Jordan, is because your defense and offensive fronts match up with their front. There's been many years that we're winning 8 games and we've got really good skill kids and we're playing with 190-pound linemen. And that's fine, that's great, that's our kid, until he meets a kid going to Ole Miss, or he meets a kid going to Alabama, or he meets a kid at Eufaula, and then you get outmatched out front. And now we match up front so well with these teams that we're playing, it gives us a better shot. There's no doubt about that.
Tomorrow night, kickoff 7 o'clock over in Clay County as Sylacauga travels to take on Clay Central. And Coach, good luck, and let's talk about 8-1 next week.
Yeah, it'd be fun, wouldn't it?
All right, Coach Matt Griffith, the head football coach of the athletic director at Sylacauga High School, joins us this morning. Brought to you by Stop and Shop Auto Sales. More Daybreak in a minute.